Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand, dear Shuddha.
Jai Sachidanand, everyone. Vishuddhatma Bhagwan's, yeah? Yeah, wonderful. Well, let us begin with the three mantra. Luz, you want to start with the three mantra, my dear?
¿Quieres empezar con el trimantra, Luz?
Jai Sachidanand.
Yes,
Namo Vitraga, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayareyanam, Namo Vasayanam, Namo Loye Sava Sahunam, Eso Pancha Namukarom, Savapava Panashanum, Mangalanam cha savesim, Padamang Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Sachidanand. Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayareyanam, Namo Vasayanam, Namo Loye Sava Sahunam, Eso Pancha Namukarom, Savapava Panashanum, Mangalanam cha Savesim, Padamang Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Sachidanand. Namo Vitragai, Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Ayareyanam, Namo Vasayanam, Namo Loye Sava Sahunam, Eso Pancha Namukarom, Savapava Panashano, Mangalanam cha Savesim, Padamang Havai Mangalam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevai. Om Namah Shivaya. Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand. Jai Sachidanand.
Jai Sachidanand. Our dearest Dada, Shri, began the satsang by asking two simple questions. Is Sachidanand present? Is Sachidanand present? And is the Laksh, is the acute awareness, is a focused awareness of Amapura present? That's all. He just asked these two questions. Is the Laksh of Amapura present? Is the bliss of Amapura present?
Dada siempre empezaba los satsang haciendo dos preguntas. La primera es, ¿Sachidanand está presente? Y la otra es, ¿está presente el alma pura?
Yeah, two questions. Is bliss present? And is Laksh present? You see, this is all. These two are the most critical questions. And this is the fundamental basis of our flight of Akram Vignan towards full liberation. You see?
I have a question before translating. Laksh, what means? Sorry.
Okay. When you're counting $100 notes or 100,000 pesos, Argentinian dollars notes, where is your awareness? If I ask you this much deck, if I ask you, I give you a lot of $100 notes, you see, a stack this big, and then I ask you, Patricia, count this for me. Where will be your Laksh? Where will
My attention.
But it is attentiveness that is associated with this acute awareness, you see. So at that time, you start counting, you start counting the notes. And if somebody is disturbing you, say, shut up, please, be quiet, I'm counting notes. You see, in other words, you're 100% focused on counting the notes, are you not?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you.
That is the Laksh.
Ok. Dada cuando se refiere a la dicha del alma pura, ¿no? En esta presencia y la conciencia enfocada es lo fundamental para poder ir a la absoluta liberación.
Yes, so see this Laksh, Shuddhatma. Now, there are two types of Laksh, not Laksh of money, not Laksh of prestige and pride, not the Laksh of sex, but the Laksh of Amapura, okay? So this is the real Laksh, you see, and that begins after the awakening in the Gnan Vidhi. Soyamapura, and with that Laksh, you rise higher and higher. The awareness of that, awareness of I also am a Pura, is associated with bliss, you see. The awareness of the eternal is bliss. That is called Sat Chit Anand.
Yes. En lo mundano, el foco puede estar puesto en el dinero, en el prestigio o en el sexo, pero si nosotros tenemos el foco de la conciencia en el alma pura, eso es una real conciencia. Y foco, ¿no? Y esto luego de haber recibido el Nanvidi, y soy alma pura, y con eso es mi conciencia. La conciencia del alma pura es lo que nos va elevando cada vez más y más y más y más.
And that is called the pure Chit, you see. That is called pure Chit is Amapura. Pure Chit is Amapura. Impure Chit goes to the mall and sees different things, you see. Whether you need it or not, it shows you those things, and then you say, oh, okay, I need to get it, you see. Because it is gone there, therefore, whether you need it or not, you will be pulled there, you know.
Yes. El chit puro es el alma pura. Y el chit impuro es cuando vamos al shopping y empezamos a ver todo lo que hay y lo queremos tener, ¿no? Y eso es lo que sucede.
So now this, we go to the third session of this third session of Akram Vignan, which is of November November 1988. Akram Vignan, November 1988. All right.
Yes.
And you see it. Go on.
Vamos a comenzar con este Satsang del Akram Vignan de noviembre de 1988.
And the last the last headings we covered were Gnan prevails in Gnan. That was heading. Then internal reformation. Then
yes, sorry.
Go on. Go on.
We are going to start at page 20 today.
No. I don't know where you got to page 20. This is page 11. We are discussing Akram Vignan of Janma Jayanti. You know, there's page 20 must be someplace else, ma'am. You know, Patricia.
Maybe, yes.
You know,
Sorry.
last time you were listening and our dear
Christian was
translating. Yeah. So now, you know, the last four headings were can the nature be changed and what goal should we keep? You see, the last heading was what goal should we keep, you see?
Yes.
What should be the goal?
El último encabezamiento que leímos es ¿cuál es la meta que debemos mantener?
We have already become Amapuras and we have the Laksh of the Amapura. Laksh means, and one more example of Laksh is, you know, a hunter, he goes to hunt, right? And so he has got his bow and arrow or his gun, you see, and he's in the heavy forest, you see, and his laksh is only on the animal, you know. You know, he is not disturbed by the birds and other things, noises in the forest. He is very quiet, and his laksh, his targeted awareness is only on what that animal is doing in between the trees, you see, right?
Tener la conciencia en el alma pura, ¿no? Pero, por ejemplo, en lo relativo, un cazador, por ejemplo, va a cazar, está en el medio del bosque y va cargado con armas o con flecha y arco. Y él no escucha absolutamente nada. Su foco está en los animales, nada lo distrae, pájaros, nada. Solamente es que hacen los animales que están por ahí entre los árboles.
All right, and so now you will not forget Laksh. You see, another example of Laksh is young mother is cooking. She's newly married. Sorry, she has been married recently, and now she has got a little baby, toddler, 2-year-old, very active. She and her little 2-year-old are in the home only, and she's cooking in the kitchen, and the toddler, 2-year-old, is playing around in the home, you see. Mother will she have the little one in her laksh, even though she is cooking. As soon as there is a little noise of the door or something, she will rush there because she knows he has opened the door, you see. You understand? So that is the laksh, even though she continues doing her things in her home, her work in the home, her laksh is on her little baby boy, you know. And you understand laksh now?
Yes, perfect. Thank you. Otra manera de describir laksh es, por ejemplo, una mujer recién casada, joven, que tiene un niño de 2 años y está cocinando, preparando la comida, y aunque el niño esté jugando por toda la casa, ella tiene su conciencia en su hijo, y cualquier sonido que pueda escuchar de la puerta o golpe, enseguida va a ver qué es lo que está sucediendo.
In the same
Eso
way,
también.
in the same way, after the Gnanvedi, no matter where we do, wherever we go, whatever we do, this laksh of So Yamapura is always with us. See, it needs that laksh is what gives you the bliss of Amapura. That's all. So Dadashri is only asking these two questions. Do you have the bliss of the self? Do you have the laksh of the self? You see?
Entonces, nosotros, no importa lo que esté pasando, ¿no? Luego del Nanbidi, nosotros tenemos la conciencia de que el alma pura está allí, y es la dicha del alma pura.
This is the most important thing. And thus, this whole satsang began with Dada asking these two questions. That's it. Is the question about bliss, because that is what we all want. We want the bliss of ourself, and we want to remain in this bliss, you see, but we also want to progress further, right? We want to now move in that world of Amapura. We want to rise in the world of Amapura.
Yes. Nosotros ahora lo que queremos es la dicha del ser y permanecer en esta dicha. También queremos progresar en el alma pura y así elevarnos al mundo del alma pura.
Yeah. So that has already happened for each one of us. Now, what should be the goal? Okay, that's what Dadashri asked, and that was the last question in the last satsang, last Saturday with us, with him, And Dadashri himself replies, in this world, no one is at fault at all. Everyone is flawless. Whatever fault I see is because of my own fault. That's it. Whatever fault I see in this world, whatever fault arises in front of me, whatever fault, wherever, in whichever situation a fault arises, that is not the fault of those people or the human beings in front of me. It is because of my own fault. This is the goal. This is the goal of the flawless vision, for which we have spent a lot of time with Dada, right?
Esto que Dada siempre respondía, ¿no? Que en este mundo nadie, absolutamente nadie, está en falta. Y cualquier falta que yo pueda ver en cualquier persona, cualquier falta que surja, no le pertenece a nadie, es debido a mi propia falta. Y esto, la meta es ver a todas las personas libres de faltas.
All right. Thank you, Fabi, for translating. Now let us go. There's the next heading. It's like 4 lines of Dada, 1 question, and Dada's answer. Okay, this is all. And this heading is, there is no one. The heading is, the world is flawless. Okay.
El título es El mundo es libre de faltas.
Okay, now just go back. Just go back to the history of this, the way this has been shared. Just go back to the history of the way this has been shared with the with the world. Just give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back. Okay, 30 seconds.
Yes. Para 30 segundos viene.
Okay. Sorry about the interruption, but Dadashri begins by saying, now we, Gnani Purush and our Dada Bhagwan, we have never seen a fault of anyone.
Dadashri empieza diciendo, nosotros, el Gnani Purush y Dada Bhagwan, jamás vimos una falta en alguien.
Fault of anyone. Okay, this is where we have to go. You see. This is where we too have to become. Dadashri says, even now I cannot see a fault of anyone, you see. And not a single second has passed where in which I have seen a fault of anyone. All right, go on.
Dada dice que hacia ese lado debemos dirigirnos, a la visión impecable, ¿no? Y ahora no ver ni una falta, ni por un segundo, dice Dada, yo he visto una falta en alguien.
And Dadashri says, why? Why? Because Dadashri then replies, why? Because the poor man is flawless. The poor man or the lady, Dada calls him poor because, not physically poor, but the poor man, the poor man, poor woman is flawless. He's poor because he does not have the light, you see.
Yes. ¿Por qué Dada dice esto? ¿Por qué dice pobre hombre o pobre mujer? Todos son libres de faltas. ¿Y por qué dice pobre? Porque no tiene la luz.
Yeah. And if you or I see a fault in him or her, it is your or mine fault. It is because of fault within you or I, you see. So there's Dada and then you and I, you see. And then Dada asks us all, what is visible to you?
Dice que si ves una falta está en ti.
And then
¿Qué es visible para ti?
Yeah, he said, what do you see? You see? Yeah, okay.
¿Qué es lo que ves?
These are 4 lines of Dada. That's it. But they are loaded with amazing beauty. You see? You think this is what now he's asking you and I, the Mahatmas, what do you see? I have made you Amapura, I have given you the bliss, I have given you the Laksh, I have given you the awareness of the Amapura. Now what do you see? So the questioner replies, I see faults are seen. I see faults of other human beings. So now Dadashri replies, if you see the fault of anyone, that is the quality of illusion. Your quality of illusion, only nothing else. All right?
En estas 4 líneas de Dada, ¿no? Dice, yo te dice alma pura, y la dicha y el foco de la conciencia. Y le responde, y alguien dice, pero yo veo falta en otros. Y Dada responde, si ves faltas, esa es una cualidad ilusoria.
This much, and the satsang is over under that heading. You see, it says that if saying the other is not saying if you see a fault. Look at this. This is very important. It is the exact words are fault that is seen is the quality of the illusion. He is not saying, Damian, you're seeing a fault, or Fabi, you're seeing a fault, or Luz, you're seeing a fault. No, Dadashri is saying the visibility of a fault is the quality of the illusion. How beautiful. Okay, all right.
Y Dada dice que exactamente, ¿no? Que la falta que es vista es una cualidad de ilusión. Y Dada no dice, Fabi, viste una falta, o Damián, viste una falta. Dice, la
Illusion.
falta que es vista es ilusión.
Yeah. Illusion, Maya. Maya, you see. That illusion has been shattered, has been absolutely shattered in the Gnani Vidhi, you see. And without the shattering of the illusion, which is called, it is impossible to enter into this flawless vision, the flawless vision, flawless vision.
La ilusión es maya y fue absolutamente borrada en el Nambiri. Y es imposible ver una falta, ¿no? Y es entrar en la visión impecable.
So does the illusion come over us again? If we see, I'm discussing now this particular satsang, these 5 lines, 4 lines, questioner says, yes, faults are seen. The questioner does not say, I see faults. The questioner is also at a very high level. He says faults are seen. You see? Fault. There is a difference between I see fault of others and faults are being seen. You see? Because we are all into the light and of the self, and we have entered even the phase of seeing the faults, you see, seeing the faults. We have entered into the phase of seeing the faults that file 1 sees, not I am seeing faults. I can see faults, you see, and these faults are of file 1, these faults are of file 1 talking to file 2. So this is the level of the seeing now that has begun within each one of us, and that is without illusion, you see.
Yes. La ilusión es vista, la ilusión es visible. Y esto es un Mahatma que habla, que tiene un alto nivel. Y toda la luz del ser que existe, y entramos en poder ver las faltas visibles que son del archivo 1, por ejemplo, hablando con el archivo 2, pero las vemos.
Yeah, any faults anywhere which are visible is a quality of the illusion. And what happens to all of us is it appears to us, the illusion, it appears to us that we have come under the illusion, or, but it is we do not come under the illusion anymore. It feels as if, and it feels as if I, Fabi, is seeing the false, you see. It feels that it is actually a quality of illusion, but the illusion is now broken, you see, but it still feels that way. And that is the discharge, that is the force in the Prakriti. That is the Prakriti force, you see, not the Amapura. You see, it feels that way, you see.
Dice que aparecen, que se siente como, aparecen, las ilusiones aparecen por haber caído bajo la ilusión y se siente como si yo, Fabi, vi la falta, pero ahora la ilusión está quebrada luego del gran Bridi y esa es una fuerza del Prakruti.
Not only that, as soon as the light of the self goes over all of this, the light lets you see it as it is, which means lets you see the evidences and not the fault. It's the light that allows you to see evidences is beyond, that light is beyond the ego in the intellect, you see. Yeah, it's a direct light of the self which lets you see as it is. And that is the flawless vision, you see.
Tan pronto como la luz del ser está, lo vemos como es, y lo vemos como evidencias, no como una falta. Es más allá, cuando se ve la falta es del ego, eso es del intelecto, ahora lo vemos como que es del archivo 1.
Yeah, it totally bypasses what the ego and the intellect have shown you. You see, shown file 1, shown all of us, this is the power of this light of the self that totally is like the sun coming and then the candle is useless, you see. In the presence of the sun, the candle is useless. The intellect has no use, you see.
Esto es cuando pasamos, vamos más allá del ego y vamos más allá del intelecto, lo que surge es el poder del ser. Y cuando surge el poder del ser es como sale el sol. Cuando sale el sol, la luz de la vela ya no es inútil, no sirve.
You see, the intellect-ego complex sees and suffers the faults. The fault is of the sufferer. The intellect-ego complex sees a fault and then says, Jesus, I'm suffering now. There's suffering. And then says, I'm suffering. Before he used to say, I'm suffering because this happened. Then the next is, I'm suffering because it is mine. And then finally, the light says, there is no one suffering. I'm aware of the one who has to pay the price of the fault. That is all, you see. I'm sorry it's so long, but go on.
El intelecto y el ego es el que sufre, ¿no? Y por ejemplo pasa algo y decimos, oh Jesús, estoy sufriendo. ¿Por qué sucede esto? ¿O por qué esto? ¿O esto es porque es mío? En realidad no hay nadie que sufra. Yo conozco al que está sufriendo.
So suffering is also, therefore, a quality of the illusion. You see, you see, to the suffering is nothing but an illusion, and I am beyond suffering. You see.
El sufrimiento es una cualidad de la ilusión y nosotros estamos más allá de esa ilusión.
Doership is nothing but illusion, and I am beyond the illusion. You see, and then doership leads to suffering, and so suffering is nothing but illusion. I am beyond the illusion. It is very real for the one who is suffering, but that's not where you and I are. You see, we are moving away in the light of the self. We are the light. We are not what is being shown in the light, you see.
Yes. El sufrimiento es una cualidad de la ilusión. El hacedor también es una ilusión. Pero nosotros estamos más allá de toda ilusión. Estamos subiendo en la luz del ser. Y no somos lo que se ve. Nosotros somos la luz, no somos lo que se ve en la luz.
So today the big thing, today in this first half hour, we are covering the quality of illusion, you see. Quality of illusion means that which is visible, you see. Qualities are visible, and if a little baby is making a face, then the mother knows that the baby is unhappy. You say there's something going on with the baby. Because if a baby doesn't say, oh, my tummy is hurting, you see. And if the baby is happily smiling, then also there is this visible quality, right? Mother knows. It's just this visibility is called qualities, and the knowing is the self, you see. The knowing is the self.
Lo más grande de todo esto, ¿no? Que es la cualidad de la ilusión, es lo visible. Por ejemplo, un bebé hace caritas y la mamá sabe inmediatamente que algo le pasa, que le duele la pancita o lo que fuere. Y si el bebé está sonriendo, la madre sabe que el bebé está contento y que está todo bien. Lo visible son las cualidades y el conocimiento es el ser.
Okay, so it's very simple. The visibility of faults is the quality of illusion. Magnificent, simple sentence of Dada, nothing else, you see. I mean, Dada's entire goal for his Mahatmas and for the world, for the world is how can they get out of this illusion? You see, how can human beings come out of this illusion? Bhranti. Bhranti is a Gujarati word. Bhranti, illusion, you see, illusion. Doership is nothing but an illusion. See?
Lo visible es la falta, ¿no? Y es la cualidad de ilusión. Y Dada dice que la meta para todo el mundo es salir de esta ilusión. Cómo salir, cómo que el mundo salga de esta ilusión. Branti es ilusión y hacedor también es ilusión.
Everyone who is doing anything, okay? Anyone who is seen doing anything is got two components. One, it's the non-self complex, the body, and two, there is a certain kind of knowledge inside which is driving that activity, you see, whether it is driving a car or whether he is a soldier preparing for war or whether it is a woman, lady cooking in the kitchen, you see. There are two things going on there. One is the body complex is doing it, and then behind that activity is the knowledge of that kriya or the activity, right?
Yes.
Cualquiera
que haga algo o cualquiera que vea algo, a alguien haciendo algo, todo esto es del complejo del no ser. Es cierto conocimiento que guía la acción. Por ejemplo, el soldado preparándose para la guerra o una mujer en la cocina cocinando, y allí hay un conocimiento de lo que está haciendo, ¿no? de la actividad.
Yes, so
Estos son los dos componentes, sorry. Como que hay dos componentes, ver a la persona y ver la actividad.
Okay, so, so the lady is cooking, the soldier is fighting, you see. And this is the beautiful part of it. All of this is happening, that knowledge is actually also automatically there to carry on that activity. The biggest illusion is the person believes, I am cooking the meal, I am fighting the other soldiers in the other side, that is the illusion. That is the illusion. You see?
La mujer cocina, el soldado pelea, y todo sucede con un conocimiento que surge automáticamente para la actividad. La gran ilusión es yo cocino o yo peleo.
Now we can apply it to everyone, whether it is a carpenter doing his thing or the blacksmith doing his thing with the irons, or whether it is a soldier doing whatever he's doing in war. We begin to see beyond the illusion, and that is the flawlessness of it all. Everyone is flawless. Everyone is flawless, you see.
Ahora podemos ver al soldado, podemos ver a la mujer, podemos ver a un joyero y empezamos a ver más allá y podemos ver más allá con una visión de impecable a todos.
What makes us see those faults and what makes us see them innocent? Programmed opinions from past life, you see, that which we have brought them in this life, you see.
¿Qué es lo que nos permite ver, qué es lo que nos hace ver la falta o libre de falta? Y es el programa que hemos traído de la vida pasada. Todo esto fue programado.
What we are discussing in pure Dada sentences here is you can only see the qualities of illusion. You can only see the qualities of illusion if you are above the illusion, not under the illusion, you see.
La palabra pura de Dada es que si podemos ver las cualidades de la ilusión y estar más allá de la ilusión.
And that begins with the first two sentences which Dada asked. Satchitanand Chene, do you have the bliss of the pure soul? And do you have the awareness of the pure soul? That's all he asks us, you know. He doesn't ask us to understand anything else. He's not saying, understand what I'm saying. This is the beauty of it. Laura, Fabi, Damian, this is the beauty of it. He doesn't ask us to understand anything. He begins by saying, is the bliss of the self there? And do you have the awareness of the self? That, you know, he is not going to go into teaching you and I the physics and chemistry and the biology and the, you know, all the things that the ABCs of this world. He has lifted us up from this world and he's coming to this only, these two sentences, you see. And we, because of our old habits, like, okay, let me study this, let me get this right, let me get this right. let me pass this exam. It's too hard for me to understand. There is nothing hard to understand. You know, what is there to understand about your own experience? Experience is experience.
Dada dice, comienza el satsang diciendo Satchitanand, dice, estás en la dicha del alma pura, estás en la conciencia del alma pura. Él solamente pregunta eso. ¿Entiendes lo que dice? Él no nos enseña las cosas de la vida, él nos eleva nos eleva con estas dos oraciones más allá. Y por ahí en lo mundano, quiero entender, quiero aprender, quiero pasar este examen, y no hay nada más que la experiencia del alma pura.
My friends, in this world, when you're flying now, you know, when you're on the eternal flight of the self, you see, these birds that are awakened, that is you and I, we do not need the support of any ground. You know, these birds who go transcontinental flights from North America to South America in winter, they have to stop. They have to stop, you see. You know, they can fly for miles and miles and miles, but they still have to stop somewhere, right? Whereas ours is the flight in Akram, which does not require for us to pause or stop or take any rest. It's the flight of eternal freedom, eternal freedom.
Yes. En este mundo, cuando volamos en el ser eterno, no necesitamos tierra para bajar y descansar o lo que fuere. Por ejemplo, las aves que migran del norte de América al sur, ellas vuelan, pero tienen que parar. Pero en este vuelo del Akram no es necesario. Es el vuelo a la eterna liberación.
Now, I move to the next heading. Beautiful. Okay. Remember now the quality of illusion, and now we go to the next heading, and I'm writing it down. And excuse me, when I try to type it very fast, I make errors, Fabi, but I know Fabi corrects it. Okay. As the next heading, and this is 2 paragraphs heading. These are beautiful, not long, complex headings under which there is a lot of satsang. You see, this is just one, 1, 2, 1, 2. So then and then we fly with Dada, effortlessly.
Yes. Este nuevo encabezamiento que dio Shuddha, sufrimiento del dolor, ¿no? Es como que vamos 1 y 2 y vamos volando sin ningún esfuerzo.
Yeah, it is
con el alma pura. El
Mahila.
sufrimiento del dolor se debe a la falta interna.
Yes.
Es el título.
And the Gujarati is Mahila doshe dukh bhogvai. All right, so the suffering of pain is due to the existence of a fault internally. That is all. Now we said, first Dada cleared the table, if you want to do some work, if you want to do some whatever your work you do on a desk, if your desk is cluttered with all kinds of things, you can't focus. You need to clear the desk, empty the slate, then you begin, you see. And Dada has already cleared the slate completely by giving us in the previous paragraph, the flawless vision. And the flawless vision is of yours. It's yours. You are the Amapura, and with that vision, there is nothing but flawlessness, right? Now, Dadashri does not leave us there. Now he says, gives us this heading, well, in other words, the fault is not outside. He has now he's come down to the fault inside, you see. And inside this friend of ours, whether for me it is Shuddha, for you it is Fabi or Harman, this is your best friend in life. This is your one and only real friend, you see, that is experiencing the beauty of this liberation too, you see, because you are here, you see. So you're helping your own friend, your file one, you see. So then now Dada localizes the fault inside, right? Fault inside you. And now begins the satsang of Dada. And it's a classic thing. It is the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law have a fight. Mother-in-law, daughter-in-law fight. And usually it's not this, it is this. Palavras, yes. So when in a fight, And the fight can never happen, if you're alone. The fight is always happens when there is somebody else, you see. And so when Dada starts with mother-in-law, daughter-in-law have a fight, and the daughter-in-law knows with the knowledge of the daughter-in-law. Now remember this knowledge we are talking about. I have given you enough information about this knowledge. A human being's knowledge is the Lord. A human being's knowledge is the Lord inside him, you see. Whether that knowledge is dirty, impure, or pure is the only difference, you see. So the daughter-in-law now knows that what is her knowledge? This mother-in-law is giving me a lot of suffering. It's giving me a lot of pain. She is a pain in the butt. Right? She is giving me a lot of pain. All words of Dada, okay? Not the butt business, but you know what I mean.
Yes. Bueno, el título de esto es El sufrimiento del dolor se debe a la falta interna. Entonces Tata cuando se sienta, él limpia ahora todo, porque es como si tenés que ponerte a trabajar, limpias la mesa donde vas a trabajar y así podés enfocarte. Y así puedes enfocarte. Y nos da y luego comienza con brindándonos esto de la visión impecable. Y nuestra visión impecable es nuestra, porque somos alma pura, y esa es nuestra visión, no ver faltas. El sufrimiento del dolor se debe a la falta interna. Esto también afecta a nuestro archivo 1, que es nuestro mejor amigo, es el más cercano, que también está experimentando este hermoso viaje hacia la liberación. Entonces, en este encabezamiento, en este satsang, Dada localiza el sufrimiento adentro de cada una de las personas. Y, por ejemplo, hay una suegra y una nuera que están discutiendo, y las discusiones siempre pasan cuando hay dos. Si hay uno, no hay pelea. Y la nuera dice, el conocimiento de ella es, esta mujer es un sufrimiento terrible.
Okay.
Y antes dijo Shuddha que el conocimiento es el Lord interior. El conocimiento puede ser puro o puede ser impuro.
Good. Now, that is her knowledge, you see. But when the daughter-in-law suffers a stroke, which leaves her paralyzed on one side, unable to speak, and it can happen at young age too. Birth control pills can do that to some ladies. But whatever. Or she threw a clot from her heart because she has got a heart valve problem or whatever. It's something inside. When she suffers a stroke, does she say, my mother-in-law did this to me? You see?
Por ejemplo, en el conocimiento, la nuera sufre un ataque, una CP o algo por el estilo que paraliza parte de su cuerpo. Y la nuera dice, este ataque me lo causó mi suegra.
Yeah, so she won't say that, would she? Dada is, look at the way Dada is proceeding so amazingly. Step by step by step, you see, towards what is it that causes suffering. And that suffering exists. The suffering exists because of a fault that is inside, you see. And so the questioner replies, of course she won't say that, Up her whole life she may be blaming the mother-in-law, And, she typically blames the mother-in-law, not directly, but the guy in the middle, he's sandwiched, the son, who loves his mother and loves the wife, and your mother is like this, your mother is like this. Mother may be far away, but it's your mother, It's really.
Dada dice que qué es lo que causa el problema. La nuera va a culpar a la suegra y la va a culpar de todo, y la va a culpar frente al marido y la va a culpar frente a los hijos. Aunque la suegra está lejos, igual la va a culpar. Y Dada dice, ¿qué es lo que causa el dolor? Y el dolor es causa por una falta que está dentro del que sufre.
So now Dadashi's reply is very beautiful. He says, the one inside who is suffering the stroke or unable to speak, you see, the one inside, or it could be cancer or whatever, some serious disease, right? The one inside knows that it has come from inside. Something has happened to the body and I'm stuck now. I'm a prisoner in my own body, right? At that time, so because it's coming from inside, it's not coming from outside, the Dadashri says. Everybody agrees, right? It is not coming from, because it's happening inside the body, it's not coming from outside, right? It's not the mother-in-law or the presidente or whoever, it's not coming from outside, right?
El que está con este ataque es como que está dentro y es como que sabe que todo está sucediendo dentro de él y es prisionero de su propio cuerpo. Y dice, nada pasa fuera del cuerpo, no está viniendo fuera del cuerpo, ni la suegra es culpable, ni el presidente, ni absolutamente nadie. Esto está sucediendo dentro del cuerpo.
Yeah, you see, so Dadashri says, but whereas in that other pain, he does not know. He is not getting the clarity. He does not know. Khabar is, one does not know or realize, here, this realization is the critical thing. In that other pain, the mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, or it could be anyone else, torment, from that, in other thing, he does not have the realization. He cannot realize. He does not know. This is the knowing part, you see. And if he knows, then he can become a god. Knowing this much, you see, knowing this much, that this external pain that is coming from your professor, your boss, your whoever, any other person, is not coming from that person. If you realize, if you know exactly where this is coming from, you can become a god. You can become a god. You see, that's all. Knowing where it's coming from. Everything is based on knowledge, you see.
Yes. El conocimiento, solo este conocimiento, que saber que viene de adentro, si sabes que viene de adentro, de lo interior, si puedes darte cuenta, si puedes reconocerlo, entonces puedes transformarte en Dios, basado en este conocimiento.
Dadashri, now I'm going to quote Dadashri exactly. If she knows or he knows, okay, that all this is happening due to my faults, my fault, then he will become the Lord God, Deus himself, period. There is no other way out of it. This is it, you see.
Dada dice que si sabe que todo sucede por mi falta, él se volverá Dios.
Yeah, and this, you see, but the problem is to know that takes time. Dadashri admits to know that all of this suffering that is coming externally or internally is due to my fault only. My means inside this one called Fabi or Laura or Shuddha, you see, then if you know that, but that knowing takes time. You see, and you know, every sentence is golden here. It takes time. And the other gives this, gives the reason for this.
Yes. Dada dice que si sabes todo, si sabes que esto sucede, está sucediendo por mis faltas, que viene de adentro, entonces te volverías un Dios. Ahora el problema es saber que ese sufrimiento interno o externo viene por mis faltas, es de mi file one. Y lleva tiempo adquirir este conocimiento, y Dada va a dar la razón de por qué.
Okay, and then the other gives the exact reason why it takes time. He says, half intoxication has a reason. Half intoxication has a reason. You know, when you eat a big plate of food, you know, you take a plate and you fill it up, pile it, because you are at a buffet and you take this and you take that and you take that. When you eat all of that, then, you know, within half an hour, 1 hour, you will want to take a nap, you see. You can't stay alert, you know. You cannot stay alert.
Yes.
Because the blood now goes from the brain to the stomach, you see. It's the stomach steals the blood from the brain because the stomach says, hey, I need to process all of this stuff that's coming in. Forget about your processing. I don't care about your processing. These are all natural things, you see.
Bueno, entonces Dada dice, explica esto y dice que la mitad tiene que ver con la intoxicación. ¿Y a qué se refiere con esto? Por ejemplo, si tomas una gran comida, ¿no? Vas a un buffet, te sirves un plato inmenso y te comes todo, absolutamente todo, después al rato vas a tener ganas de ir a tomar una siesta. Y no puedes estar en estado de alerta, porque la sangre del cerebro necesita ir al estómago para poder hacer todo este proceso de digestión. Entonces el estómago le dice al cerebro, olvídate un rato, necesito esta sangre para digerir.
And the Dadashri says, the food that you eat has an effect. It intoxicates you, and then it does not allow you to see correctly. You see, it does not allow you to see correctly, you see. And so, and if you're eating those kind of full, big plates every day, you know, twice a day, maybe, whatever, okay, then the only way to cut down and come back to your relative, increase your relative awareness is to go fast, you know. You see, when you fast a little bit, then intoxication comes down. The other is giving the relative example, okay, don't take it literally, but the other is giving this relative example. If you fast on the day you're fasting, your awareness is very high, you see.
Dada dice que la comida tiene un efecto que intoxica y que no te permite ver correctamente. Y si y si comemos todos los días así platos inmensos de comida y los comemos 2 veces al día, para poder salir de ahí, para poder volver al estado para poder estar alerta es ir rápido, ¿no? Y esto es un ejemplo
Es ayunar,
que lo
Patri, hacer
está
ayuno para limpiar
ayunar.
el cuerpo.
Claro, no, yo no ayuno, por eso no la conozco la palabra.
Fasting.
Fasting. Bueno, gracias. Este es un ejemplo en lo relativo.
Okay, and you see, so now you see, look at the way the science of Dada is working. He gives the example of food because food is a primary necessity of all human beings, you see. And he gives the example of food, and he says people who fast, you see. You see, the problem which is, yes, the relative awareness increases. You see, their awareness in the world is very acute. But then the problem is the ego now gets up, rises. See, I'm fasting. I don't touch this. I don't touch that. He will fast for 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, and every as much as he fasts, the ego increases, which is you are out of the frying pan and you have jumped into the fire now, or have you not?
Entonces, la ciencia de Dada dice, bueno, y ahí usa la comida porque todos comemos, ¿no? Entonces el tema de ayunar hace que el conocimiento crezca. Pero también hay un problema, que es el ego, y dice, yo ayuno, yo no como esto, yo no como lo otro, y entonces el ego crece, es como saltar de la sartén al fuego.
So then the other Sri says, it's better, let it be, let there be intoxication of the food, but at least the intoxication of the ego is not there, you see.
Entonces Dada dice que bueno, permite que la intoxicación de la comida suceda y no la intoxicación del ego.
You see, this okay, let's take it back to the fight of the mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, okay? So, the more she says, I'm not going to say anything about this. My mother-in-law is terrible. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to do anything, about it. I'm going to ignore her. I'm going to suppress it. The more you suppress it, you learn to suppress it, but then your ego keeps rising higher. In one day, the ego and the anger will jump back on the mother-in-law, and this is the kind of problem that is happening. You see, when she gets to control. When she is a young woman, her husband is very nice to her, and she manages to bring him under his control by saying negative things about the mother-in-law, but she has not forgotten all that pain, you see. And when the mother-in-law is old, or at the earliest opportunity, she will separate her husband from the mother-in-law and, send her far away, or, and then whenever she can, she will get back at the mother-in-law, She will not treat her mother-in-law like she would treat her own mother, you see.
Yes. Y vamos a volver a la discusión de la nuera y de la suegra. La nuera dice, no le diré ni haré absolutamente nada, la voy a ignorar. y lo voy a reprimir todo esto. Pero en algún momento esta ira va a saltar con la suegra. Ella durante su matrimonio, bueno, tiene un buen marido, lo trata bien, pero lo trae bajo su control. Pero no puede olvidar todo el sufrimiento que tiene que tuvo con ella. Y va a alejar al marido de su madre. Y esta nuera no va a estar tratando a su suegra como trataría a su madre.
The most important sentence we learned today from Dada is that is this realization of the suffering is due to faults within. If this realization happens, you become a God. This all suffering is inside. And I am, Gnanvidhi is the ultimate. Gnanvidhi actually places you in the flight of becoming a God, all right? But this realization, even if the people of the world get it, even if they don't have the Gnanvidhi, they will become God. They will become God. There's a difference between will become a God versus you have become a God. Eoso Amapura is a mini God. Eoso Amapura in 5 Agnas makes you the Lord, you see. There is no Lord above you, there is no Lord anywhere else, you see.
Lo más importante de todo esto es darse cuenta que el sufrimiento se debe a las faltas y las faltas vienen del interior. Y Dada nos colocó en el Nanvidi, en el vuelo de ir a Dios. Y una cosa es decir, bueno, yo estoy en camino, seré Dios, a sentir que yo soy Dios. Estar en alma pura y en las 5 agnas, Dios está dentro tuyo, no está afuera, ni arriba, ni abajo.
And upon reading this much only of Dada, we are filled with so much compassion for other human beings who fight with physically, verbally, mentally. They're so stressed out because they do not know why they are suffering, you see. They do not know why they are suffering, you see. And so there is pure compassion from our side for these people. We do not see them at fault, We do not see them at fault. We see that their suffering is purely due to them not knowing who they are, you see. They do not know who they are in all of this.
La compasión por los que pelean, ¿no? Y porque no saben por qué sufren. Y solo podemos darle nuestra compasión para todas estas personas. Y no vemos absolutamente ninguna falta en ellos, porque ellos no saben quiénes son.
And we also learned another word, actually a very powerful word in Akram Vignan, which is called Merno Chedyocha. In other words, intoxication. People are intoxication. The people are temporarily intoxicated with too much food. They are temporarily intoxicated with too much wine. But the intoxication of the ego of these human beings around. I am something. I have money. I have brains. I can those intoxications, no one can save you from those intoxications. Those lead, all those intoxications, they do not decrease. On the contrary, they increase in this life. And you die in a state of utter poverty. You may be the richest man, but you are the poorest man. You are a bitter man, and you die bitter, and all that bitterness and all that kasha is because of lack of light follow you. They come with you in the next life. The body remains dead here, you see. Disintegrates.
Hay una palabra muy poderosa en Akram Vignan y es meino, que es intoxicación. Puede haber intoxicación de comida, intoxicación del vino, pero lo peor es la intoxicación del ego que trae el orgullo y todos los kashais. Y estos no decrecen y no decrecen, y así te vas volviendo cada vez más pobre y más amargo, y te mueres siendo amargo. Y así seguirá, te irás a la otra vida, y esto será por la falta de luz que no tuviste en esta vida te seguirá a la otra.
Yes, Christian.
Jai Sachidanand
Jai
Shuddha.
Sachidanand.
You talked recently about that this any like this knowledge that comes from inside, whatever it is, it's the knowledge of the Lord, of the and I want to, because I have been before being in Gnan and other things that work with 0-point energy, and they say that you can, when you're assuming that everything that happens in your life is 100% your responsibility, and you work for that with this, let's say Ho'oponopono, but it's like that, and that also the knowledge that comes from within you, it's the knowledge of the Lord. It's correctly from the Akram point of view.
Traducilo, por favor, Chris.
Please translate.
Okay. Le preguntaba que él dijo que cualquier conocimiento que venía desde dentro era un conocimiento del Lord, era un conocimiento del Señor, era un conocimiento de Dios, cuando uno asumía que todo lo que ocurría desde dentro de uno. Entonces yo le pregunté que si eso, qué pasaba con la gente que trabaja con la energía del punto cero, o con la energía en que asume que hay un 100% de las cosas que ocurren en la vida de uno también tienen que ver con uno, y uno 100% responsable de todo lo que ocurre fuera de uno y todo lo que percibe uno, y trabajan en torno a ello, haciendo ciertas cosas como el Ho'oponopono, y que a través de eso ellos esperan que venga un conocimiento desde dentro, si ese conocimiento y lo que está ocurriendo ahí, cuál es la perspectiva del Akram respecto de aquello, si ese conocimiento también es de Dios, y eso fue un poco la pregunta.
Yes, yeah, it's a very good question, and what it is I would answer this by saying, what I just wrote in here is there's a subtle difference between all is a knowledge of the Lord versus all knowledge is the Lord, you see. Gnan is Lord. This knowledge is Lord. The only difference between them, those people who are wandering, versus we, you and I, who are free, is that we have come into the exactness of the purity of our own self. Who are we, you see? Whereas they, in their worldly pursuits and in their spiritual pursuits, they rise and they say, after all, the Lord is doing everything. This is the world, Lord's energy, you see. this is the Lord's energy. This is, you can, instead of Lord, you can use any high level spiritual terms, you know. This is that special energy from inside, you see. But he has not exactly clicked into it with the experience that this is mine. I am the one, you see. This is my energy. I am the source of all exact, correct, vision-related energies, you see. So you're right, you know, all of the spiritual pursuit people, they somehow have come so close to this and are knocking on the door. But when things do not happen according to how they want it, you see, then they get frustrated. And their ability to really understand that there is no door is very difficult. They cannot, they say, okay, I did it. Something inside me did it. I did it, you see. Go on, sorry, it was a long explanation. You can translate it, you know, if you get it, all right? Yeah.
Yeah, let's see. Hay una sutil diferencia, ¿no? Entre el conocimiento del Lord y que todo el conocimiento es el Lord, ¿no? Y hay una gran diferencia entre los que están buscando y que buscan la energía de Dios y que buscan y que están buscando ahí, y es diferente cuando recibís en la NVIDIA, que tenemos la exactitud de quién somos y sabemos quiénes somos y cómo suceden las cosas. A diferencia de ellos, las cosas las está haciendo Dios, es la energía de Dios. Entonces, y nosotros en cambio sabemos que yo soy la fuente de toda visión, conocimiento, correcto. Y puede ser que estas personas se están acercando mucho, es como que ya están agarrando, como abriendo la puerta, pero cuando las cosas no suceden, se frustran y es como que algo deben de estar haciendo mal para no sucedan las cosas.
And Christian, you add your understanding of this, you know, I'm not challenging any translations. I just want to know
It's
if...
perfect,
it's
perfect. That's perfect, perfect.
Yeah, right, yeah. Go on, Christian.
Okay, bueno, me dijo que efectivamente no todo el conocimiento es el conocimiento que viene del Lord, pero que la gente que está espiritualmente avanzada y que logra entender que las cosas que vienen desde adentro o cuando se genera conocimiento desde lo profundo de eso, toda esa sabiduría viene del Señor, viene de Dios. Y que efectivamente aquellas personas que son capaces de comprender de que todo lo que ocurre alrededor de ellos es de alguna manera su responsabilidad y que logra entender eso, es diferente de la gente que cuando las cosas no ocurren de acuerdo a su voluntad en el mundo externo, empiezan a tener un nivel de frustración enorme y empiezan a culpar a los demás, que ese es la gran diferencia. Y dice que la gente que está espiritualmente muy avanzada sí tiene la comprensión de que todo lo que está ocurriendo desde dentro, independientemente de cuál sea la línea que tienen, pero eso es un desarrollo espiritual muy importante. Más o menos eso, muy resumido, es lo que dijo.
Yeah, you know, this is why it is so important to go into what Dadashri has given us. And this is what we are doing in Satsang. We are coming, you know, we have been placed here, but now we are removing our residual wrong beliefs. It is okay, it is good for all those people who are doing all of those spiritual pursuits, and they do get their benefits, you see. They do benefit from that. There is no question, you know. And the benefit is there for them as long as they do their meditations or as long as they kind of stay focused on that. Whereas the difference for us is We have landed on the moon, my friends. They're still trying to go in the direction of the moon. That is the difference, you see. how, how else can I say it? You see, once you have landed on the moon, you cannot say, oh, I got to still go to the moon now. Now the question is, now explore the beauty of this moon that you have landed on and see this world as you see from the moon. Now you're seeing the world from the moon. You see this world of Shuddha, Fabi, Christian, this world. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Bueno, ¿por qué es tan importante, ¿no? Ir con estas palabras que Dada nos da, con este conocimiento? Y es que así vamos removiendo el residuo de creencias erróneas. Y para estas personas que Cristian citaba, está bien, tienen sus beneficios mientras que hacen las meditaciones, mientras que están enfocados, que tienen el foco. Pero es como que nosotros ya llegamos a la luna y ellos están yendo a la luna. Entonces, ahora puedes explorar la luna y puedes ver el mundo desde la luna.
All right. So, it's a good time to take a little. Or I know there's one more person who had raised the hand. Yeah, that's Gabi. Gabi, can we come to your question after a break? Huh? All right. So we'll come back after a break. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Vamos
all
a
right.
tomar un recreo y después vamos con la pregunta de Gaby.
Okay. All right.
Thank
so
you, Shuddha.
thank you, Christian and Pavi. Thank you. Let us continue.
Yes.
Well, let's just wait for Gabi and everybody to come in, huh?
Thank you. Jai
Yeah.
Sachidanand.
Yes,
Me
yes, yes, Gabi.
Ok.
Mm.
Lo anoté porque estoy un poquito confusa.
No te escucho
respecto-
bien, corazón. Acércate al micrófono, por favor.
¿Ahí me escuchas? ¿Ahí?
Sí,
¿Ahí?
sí, sí,
Sí.
sí, sí.
Respecto de la visión, se puede entender que ver a los demás en falta es un medio para ver mis aspectos ciegos, los aspectos ciegos del activo 1. Y estos aspectos los veo porque es el alma que está en el otro la que me devuelve mi propio reflejo. Quiere decir entonces que este reflejo es como el que nos da el Gnani en Satsang.
Ok. Bueno, espero traducir bien. Gaby's question is if the vision of seeing a fault is because my file 1, and it is the alma pura of the other person who give me the reflex so I can see, and it is the same reflex that Gnani give us in Satsang.
Can you can you improve upon that question, please? That she was just asked. I say I don't quite get it.
The vision is seeing the fault of others. Is because my fears, the fears of value 1, or it is because the pure soul is of the other person is the one who I reflect on, and it is the same reflect that the Gnani give us in Satsang.
Forget.
No.
Thank you.
Sorry, sure, that wasn't the question. In reality, the question is, if when Gabi see the faults in other people, in other persons, do the act of seeing that fault reflects the faults that Gabi has to work within her? It's like a reflection of the things that Gabi has pendant. You can say something like that. Es más o menos eso, Gabi, ¿cierto?
Mm-hmm.
Wait. Yeah. I can understand then that seeing the fault in others is a means to see the blind aspects. And those aspects, we see them because it is the soul in the other that gives us back our own reflection. Does it mean then that this reflection is like the one given to us by the Gnani in Satsang?
Leave aside the light is not given by anyone. You see, the light is yours. Your ignorance is removed by the Gnani. You see, the ignorance, the wrong belief that I am, the wrong belief which makes you take over that which is not yours, the wrong belief that makes you, that had made you the owner of Gabi was the problem, you see. And when that wrong belief is completely broken, and to break the wrong belief, the Gnani just awakens you to who you are. You see, the Gnani says, repeat after me, Gabi. I am pure soul. I am absolutely free from this mind, speech, and body. And you are repeating that. That's all. You see, you are repeating that. Okay. And that is the light. It is you have come to your light. This is your light. You see? Now, sorry, and then I will proceed with your question, in a minute. Let's translate that much, okay? Because you're not getting this from anyone. It is yours only. You were in the wrong place, therefore you couldn't see it, you see? Mm-hmm.
La luz es tuya y tu ignorancia fue removida en el Nan-Vidi. La creencia errónea que te hace creer que sos Gabi, ¿no? La dueña de Gabi. La creencia errónea es como que se quebró, se rompió en el Nan-Vidi y Dada te despierta a quién realmente eres. Tú eres alma pura y estás absolutamente libre y separada de la mente, el habla y el cuerpo. Y vos repites eso, y esa es la luz y es tu luz.
Mm-hmm. Now, that process, that process that of coming home is automatically associated with the light that allows you to see that which is. And what is the Gabi complex. And inside the Gabi complex are things called field stock from past lives, which opens up. And by the view that this is happening to me, the faults arise. The faults take over. You see, the fault inside is the fault inside, you see. The faults will be there because that is what is in the field stock. That fault will make Gabi see the fault of other people because that fault is not clear. Yeah. The fault itself makes see. Fault is that which makes you see fault of others. The fault makes you see fault of others. And so the illusion takes over. Now the illusion is, oh, he's like this, she's doing this, you see. Whereas you can see that Gabi is now doing this, you see, not you. Gabi is doing this. All right. And then you have come to the final awareness in which the fault is due to the faulty vision. The fault is due to the faulty vision of Gabi. Gabi has the faulty vision, not you. You are the light. Gabi has the faulty vision, and that faulty vision gets corrected every time there is suffering. Because if there is no effect of the faulty vision, you will not know it. Because, you know, when you see a fault, you suffer. Gabi suffers, you see. You see, so the faulty vision is the cause of the suffering. And ignorance is to blame the other people for this, you see. Whereas Amapura and the light of the Amapura through 5 agnas lets you see nobody is at fault. And even Gabi is not at fault, but now the faults are still there in Gabi that needs to go away. You see, those faults in Gabi need to go away, you see. And they will discharge. They'll discharge. They will discharge. Slowly they will discharge. They might give suffering to Gabi or might give pleasure to Gabi, but that's it. You see, they will discharge. Sorry, it was a long answer, but go ahead.
Perfecto. Este proceso te vuelve al hogar, ¿no? El Ignan Vidi, te vuelve al hogar. Y entonces asocia la luz que te permite ver que es Gabi. Gabi es el complejo de Gabi. Y hay cosas que están en su stock que tienen que ver con vidas pasadas, que están abriéndose. Entonces la visión que me pasa a mí, las faltas son las que están dentro en el stock. Y hace ver, este stock que tengo hace que yo vea las faltas en otro. La falta que te hace ver las faltas en otros. Y eso es una ilusión que te hace decir, él es así, él hace esto, o Gabi hace tal cosa. Y luego llegas a la conciencia final, ¿no? Y la visión con faltas son de Gabi. Pero esto es bueno porque las podés ver, si no las ves no se pueden corregir. Y estas faltas son las que traen el sufrimiento. Culpar a otros también es parte de la ilusión. El alma pura, la luz del alma pura y las 5 agnas son los que nos mantienen en la visión impecable. Las faltas tienen que irse, se van a descargar con placer o con dolor, pero se van a descargar.
And you see, so suffering is a very, very important aspect of our awareness, you see. The suffering that arises in the mind and in the body or through words, you see, is good because it keeps us aware. It keeps us aware, you see. And initially Dada has actually in the Gnanaviti removed us from both kinds of suffering of pain of any kind and suffering of pleasure. We are the pure knowers of this happening to Gabi, to Shuddha, to Christian, you see. This is happening. But on the basis of the suffering, you can catch the fault. But if you don't want to catch the specific fault, doesn't matter. You just see what's going on. He is suffering. Who is suffering? Gabi, Shuddha. All right. Now, this is mine coming to me and not others doing it to me. Nobody is doing it to me. You see?
Sufrir es una parte importante del complejo de la mente, del habla y del cuerpo. Y es bueno porque nos permite mantener la conciencia. Y Dada es como que nos remueve del placer y el dolor. Y esto sucede. Pero puedes ver, y si puedes ver cuál es la falta, si la puedes ver, está bueno eso.
I say so. Before even you enter into the full-fledged suffering, even before the suffering begins, you are now swimming in suffering. Oh, what's going to happen? Before you enter in suffering, there are signals. There are signals, effects. This signal is asar. It's the beginning. You see, it touches. Somebody says, stupid Gabi. Now, initially there will be an effect. And then there will become a time when it doesn't matter what they tell you, what they do to you, what they say about you. But that's before, initially it will rub you, it will touch you. And that is when you need to be in perfect awareness of the first two sentences of Dada, Satchidanand Chene. Is the bliss of the self is there? And the answer will be yes. Is the awareness of the Amapura there? Yes, because the two are together, you see. Then then you will not go to jump into the suffering. You see, the suffering will not happen, you see. Otherwise, it may keep you up all night. Whoa, he did this to me. They did this to me. What will I do? What can I do? And you are under the illusion of suffering. You're not suffering. You have just entered the illusion of suffering. Why is Dada saying it's an illusion? Because darn, as soon as you say, Samapura, the flawlessness comes in, lifts you up.
O sea, perdón.
Sorry. Yeah. Need to
Antes de empezar a sufrir, hay señales, ¿no? Señales y son como efectos que nos tocan, ¿no? Por ejemplo, si alguien viene y dice, oh, Gaby es estúpida, y eso es un efecto. Luego llegará un momento donde ya esto no te va a importar, pero primero te va a tocar y es perfecto porque esto te ayuda a estar en conciencia. Y ahí pues vamos a las dos preguntas tan fundamentales de Dada, y es si ahí estás, Satchitanand está ahí, si estás en la dicha del alma pura. Si no, estás bajo la ilusión del sufrimiento y vas a estar caminando de noche sin poder dormir pensando en todo lo que pasa. Pero si estás en yo soy alma pura y estás en conciencia, eso inmediatamente te eleva.
Yes. Yeah. Go on.
Perdón. ¿Quién es entonces el que ve la falta que ve en el otro?
¿Quién ve la falta en el otro? Es la pregunta. Who is the one who sees the fault in the other?
Gabi.
Que el defecto
Prakriti sees the faults of the Prakriti. Non-self complexes see the faults of the non-self complex. Amapura can never see faults. All right. Okay. So it is the form. You remember in the earlier satsangs, it is the form extra formation complex that has arisen, in which we are the Amapuras. Okay. And this has arisen, this has come into this world, and depending on the evidences, we have fought and we've done this and we've suffered and we've managed. This is a Prakriti we are. It's it's a non-self complex called Gabi or Prakruti, the filled stock from past life that is seeing the faults. It's not emptied. You see, the garbage has not been emptied. You carried that garbage from past life. This mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, they both carried the garbage from past life. You see? And again, it happens this life. And again, they enter into it. It's happening to me, man. I don't like this mother-in-law. Or, you see, I don't like this daughter-in-law. The other daughter-in-law is so nice, you see.
El Prakruti ve las faltas del Prakruti, ¿no? Como son los complejos, las evidencias son las que te hacen sufrir. El alma no ve las faltas. Y es como la basura que cargada en la vida pasada que sigue sucediendo y va a seguir repitiéndose en la medida en que no tengamos la conciencia, y esta pelea de suegra y de nuera va a seguir repitiéndose vida tras vida.
And that is why do not be worried too much about the faults. Be worried, be sure to come back to Agna 1, Agna 2. This is all relative. And the world is the puzzle itself. This is the puzzles arise, and so the Agnas lets you come home so easily, because that is you. You are the Agna. You yourself are the knowledge. You yourself are the Agnas. You don't say, I have, that will come later on, but you begin by saying this is relative, you're aware that Gabi is now blaming the other person. But, later on in the night, Gabi will say, no, Vyavasthit, he's flawless. That person is not his fault. It is something within me that was doing it. You see? And it is a very beautiful effect. You have cleared that file. It's no longer a file issue anymore, you see. You're not, as long as the blaming of the other person is there, it is impossible to get out of it, you see. And you can do it two ways. Either you can swim, and do pratikraman. Pratikraman means swimming in the ocean, or you can come back to the flight of the Agnas, all right? And the choice is yours.
Yes. No te preocupes por las faltas, ¿no? Asegúrate de estar en las agnas, agna 1, agna 2, y así el rompecabezas de la vida se va a ir resolviendo. Tú eres el conocimiento y tú eres las agnas. Y comienzas con esto en lo relativo, y puedes llegar a tener algún inconveniente, pero en la noche te vas a dar cuenta. Y vas a limpiar el archivo. Mientras tanto, no culpes, no culpes a nadie. Esto es como, el practikrama es como nadar, y después están las agnas, que es lo que te libera.
Pratikraman without agnas is useless. Pratikram, it's useful for those people who do not have the agnas, you see. But for pratikraman, the essence of pratikraman is makes you come back in the agna. You're seeing the amapura of the other person. Oh, amapura, I saw your fault. Please, 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 forgive me, you see. So you are actually coming back into the agna. That is the pratikraman,
El practikrama sin las agnas no sirve, ¿no? Porque en realidad son las agnas, es volver a las agnas. Cuando estás en las agnas, ya volviste.
Vishuddhatma Bhagwans. We'll continue with the next heading, which I gave you. This is on page 12 of this magnificent, the Akram Vignan Magazine. And until then, and Sirish Bhai has asked me to do the next Saturday, so I will see you next Saturday and be with you. Okay. All right. Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Diklo, I'll be there. I'll call you just in 2 minutes. I'll call you, Diko. Okay. All right. Okay, Diko. And so then with that, so with that, let us, Shuddha has to get back to packing all the warm clothes. I have to go to New York, this afternoon. So that's how it is.
Shuddha tiene que ir a empacar porque hoy a la tarde se va a Nueva York y el sábado va a estar nuevamente con nosotros en Satsang. Thank you, Shuddha.
Jai
Jai
Sachidanand.
Sachidanand.
Yeah, yes, namaskar.
Gracias, Sudha.
Yeah, Jai Sachidanand. Huh?
Jai Sachidanand.
Jai
Gracias,
Sachidanand.
Patita.
Yeah,
Jai
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 Jai Sachidanand Sudha. Thank you.
Jai Sachidanand,
Sachidanand
Vana,
a todos.
Rose, Devadasi, Cecilia, yes,
Yaya.
and all the rest, of course, I've been, I could see. All right, Jai Sachidanand.